helps my nervous system regulate. You meet your challenges. It's also an emotional thing as well, because I take kids through it as well. I take adults. We do a lot of ice baths here in Australia, but it's the practice of the breath and the focus and the challenge mentally, emotionally, spiritually that you go through. But I found, honestly, with neurodiverse kids, it calms them down if they're ADHD. And for those that are very withdrawn, their nervous system flips and they become very chatty afterwards. So they let you in. So it's a beautiful, holistic way to connect to self.
Yeah. Hello, this is Rediscovering Connection with me, Shelley, and I'm here with Nicole, the Kidz Coach. And I'm super excited to really delve into how Nicole has rediscovered connection with herself, with the people in her life, and also with the children that she works with and the families that she helps to reconnect with their children. So welcome, Nicole. I'm really happy to see you today. You're on a different day to me. I'm on a Thursday here. And
it's Friday here in Australia, Friday morning, very early. And thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to dive deep. Yeah.
Amazing. So why don't we really explore that that reconnection with yourself, like when things started to really make sense for you, once this business venture became something that felt like the right fit for you. Maybe let's go into that like positive journey of reconnection, and how once you did start reconnecting, how those positive trickles just started to unfold for you.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, 100%. The being in alignment, having a coach help me connect to my heart's desires, my soul. Like, you can use whatever word that resonates with you. I'm quite diverse, so it could be God, universe, guide, inklings, intuition, but connecting in here really has led me to this path. And I've been in personal development for about 13 years now, and it still brings me back to the very first session I had when I met a holistic healer. Delving into that soul work, delving into that unconscious, beautiful healing gave me such a profound internal shift that I knew then that I would carry that with me to then teach. And I haven't stopped studying since, but yeah, it's that reconnection to soul all the time, to drop in out of our heads, which is full of control and fear and chaos, really, sometimes. Connecting into that beautiful wisdom within has led me to work with kids and bring this holistic healing to them. And it's one of the things that I very first teach to kids, to parents, is to try and drop out of your head into your soul. Because we're the guides. Like, everybody has their innate wisdom. If we go back to the frequency we were created, it's love, it's beautiful. It's just we get too busy and drop out of it very quickly.
And what rituals do you have? What helps to bring you back to center when life inevitably gets really busy and you have a lot of demands on your time and attention? What do you use to bring yourself back?
Good question. One of my non-negotiables every day is cold therapy. I'm neurodiverse, so my brain is very, very busy, and cold therapy every single morning. I have my own chest freezer I get in, it's like 1 degree, will bring me into focus and center, that breath, that resonance, and it really helps me just connect to the underneath. So that'll help me really calm and focus. In the daytime, I love using like smells. So like I love Paleo Santo and just taking some deep breaths and changing my state that way. And then the other thing is sun and grounding. Like, they're the other things. Like, if I'm very, very busy, like bare feet, trying to get outside, be in the grass, get some sun on me. Those 3 things are probably the things that I'd go back to pretty well every day.
I'm so intrigued about this chest freezer. Is it a lay down freezer or is it walk in?
No, so it's a sit in, like, so like a chest freezer that you put all your food in. It's all lined and you fill it full of water, and then you regulate it with a temperature, and you turn it off when you get in it, because obviously you don't want to electrocute yourself, but it's set, and it keeps the water at like 1 degree. And so you get in for about 3 to 5 minutes depending. And then I do hot cold. I've got a 40-degree spa, so I'll go from 1 degree to 40 and I'll regulate. It helps my nervous system regulate. You meet your challenges. It's also an emotional thing as well, because I take kids through it as well. I take adults. We do a lot of ice baths here in Australia, but it's the practice of the breath and the focus and the challenge mentally, emotionally, spiritually that you go through. But I found, honestly, with neurodiverse kids, it calms them down if they're ADHD. And for those that are very withdrawn, their nervous system flips and they become very chatty afterwards. So they let you in. So it's a beautiful, holistic way to connect to self.
Yes. I was first introduced to like cold water dipping just a couple of months ago. And it was summer here in Canada, but the sea is still very, very cold. And the friend that introduced me to it, she's been doing it for years. So she took me on the whole process of it, like going in the different stages before you go in. And then in the end, I'm up to here, just holding my hands out of the water until I felt that burning sensation in my legs. And I was so confused because I'd never heard of this before, like that feeling. And my friend said, that is your chi. That's your life force energy waking up. And I was like, wow, this is why people do this. Do you get that? Do you get that in your chest?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel it all through my body. I'm also like a pole dancer and a PT, so personal like fitness instructor. I don't use it much, but I notice the recovery from it. So the physical aspect. So if I have an injury, the cold therapy will bring the energy to that place that needs to heal. So maybe your finger or toes or ankle or shoulder. But the actual, for me, I believe that my chi is very energetic. So it helps me bring it in to really come into a calming state. Like I can feel the energy within me just raise and just like, yeah, stay within instead of being so chaotic. So yeah, I guess it's different for everybody, but yeah, that beautiful, beautiful burn, like it really wakes me up and changes my whole mood, my whole state every morning.
So
And some mornings I don't want to do it, but I do. It's my non-negotiable.
Yes. You know it's going to set you up for the day. So what I'm
Correct.
really hearing is like your journey to rediscover connection with yourself and really understand what works for you. And now I'd love to learn about the work that you do and the transformation that you help other parents and the children go through to get a piece of that and to really go on their own journey with your guidance.
Beautiful. So as we know, every single person is different. And so I never work with a child or family unless they pick me. So I let them interview me and I let the child be empowered for the choice. So in that moment of connection, I'm helping them go back to self and really go, oh, I actually have the power. I actually get to choose. And so if they choose me, then any kind of therapy or session can be done with that child, whether it's art or play or cold therapy or running around or pole dancing. Any kind of session can be done, talk therapy, hypnotherapy, anything like that can be done with that child because they've picked me. I then teach the parents to lead first, go first. So if they're having emotional issues, dysregulation, they say, hey, I've asked for help for you so we can both learn together. We talk in deep, vulnerable states. And by leading myself by example, I can tell them my journey that I've been through, things that have worked with me. And because I've tried multiple modalities, I let them pick and choose what's going to work for them. It might be crystals, it might be pendulum, it might be breath, it might be cold, it might be body movement. There's no right or wrong way when it comes to connection to self. It's working out what that person innately needs and dropping in to that, like we just did before, like you and I, to that soul work. That's where the gold is, like helping people find that, getting out of their busyness. So I never have a plan. I run by intuition. I guess for me, my superpower has always been that every time I've learned something through a beautiful healing holistic modality, I make it a game for kids. So if we've got, shadow work, or if we've got changing states, or if we've got, you know, moving through an emotion, give me some chalk, give me some crayons, give me some hula hoops. I can make that a game for kids. Let's jump in, you know, let's make it fun. Let's do some crazy antics and then do some mirror work and look at ourselves in our soul and our eyes. There's no right or wrong way, but it's helping them access all these beautiful parts that were never or isn't taught in education, isn't taught to our kids now. So bringing that to families, bringing that to kids in a fun way that they just get it.
Beautiful. And with the way the education system is going, do you see any openings for this kind of work to actually come into the traditional schools?
I would love to say yes, but I'm really not sure. Like, I've worked in education here in Australia, and they're very regimented on like well-being and mindfulness. So there's a small part of it, but it's not the main focus. The main focus is still curriculum, the KPIs, you know, reading, writing, who's behaving a certain way, and they're not really addressing the bigger issues of the overwhelm, the kids that don't want to be there, the negative behaviors. They really need yeah, a whole curriculum on personal development or well-being, or you know, that would be amazing. And having, you know, people in their elite people in their league come in and help children be the best versions of themselves. Then, you know, I just think it back to me. If I had somebody like me when I was 7 telling me that I was worthy and enough and was able to be authentically myself and to continue to ask and, you know, speak my truth and work through that, like, maybe I wouldn't have made the decisions I made in my 20s. Maybe I would have had a solid foundation and a safety net of really knowing who I was. And that's why it's so important. You know, we go through our spiritual awakening, 20s, 30s, 40s. It just makes so much sense. Like, there's so many of us healers out there, whatever you want to call us. Why are we not bringing it to kids? Because they get it very quickly. They're going through little traumas. They're going through little, you know, emotions. And it's not that we're not aware of it, because we remember what we were like when we were kids, but our parents never really did that. They were like, off you go, don't worry about it, be a kid. But those little things all build up for our 20s and 30s.
So true. I would love to see you going into schools. I want to hear from you when you do your first presentation in a school environment. Yeah, something that's come. I've got 2 young children, and stuff that I'm learning, I am communicating to them. And you're right, like they do get it. They want to hear about it. They're curious, and they don't, like some of the adults that I know, they would be huge skeptics on some of the work that I'm doing, and the more like intuition side of things. But and I do practices with my children. I'd love to hear if you do anything like this. Like, I was in the UK in the summer, my sister was there, and my sister would go out, or she went away, and then she was going to come back. So I was like, what do we think Auntie Lily is going to be wearing? And just getting them to play with their intuition and just guessing, and then just ask them a few times. Then when she came in, I'd be like, hey, you see how you got that right? Isn't that cool? How you can tap into that, and you know. And encouraging their intuition through little exercises like that.
I haven't done the intuition one. That's really, really cool. I do have a beautiful Vedic couple in Melbourne, and they teach pineal gland activation, and the kids have their eyes closed, and they can read the book with their eyes closed. They can tell the colors with their eyes closed. It's not something that I've learnt myself. I more go down the track of anchoring in positive language and really finding that safety and the embodiment. So I'm like, oh, you're so happy now. Where do you feel that in your body? Oh my God, what's your happy color? Let's and then, you know, like using that hypno-play language with kids. Also, like, asking questions like, oh, I can see you're really frustrated or angry now. That's okay. Let's express that in a safe way. Or asking questions. So for my son, when he was 7, he's 17 now, and I first started learning this, he was very angry. I was going through a divorce, and he was, and I just said to him, oh, I know you're really angry, but when was the first time you were angry? And no pre-framing, no anything. He just bottled his little fists up so tight. And he's like, when I was in your tummy, mum, I was so angry. I just wanted to get out. And I was like, here we go, timeline straight to the womb. And he was breech. He was stuck under my liver. He broke my waters early. I was in my 20s. I didn't really understand. I was telling the doctors that he wasn't the right way, and he was right. And he just wanted to get out. And so we then unpacked, well, what did you need to know so that you don't have to be angry now? And so conscious therapy talks about, oh, you're angry now. Yeah, your parents are going through divorce. That doesn't help their emotional body and where they've stored it. If he's been angry since he was in the womb, then he needed to just have somebody ask the question and say, well, how do you release that? What do you need? And so I've been playing this game for at least 7 or 8 years with kids, because I've practiced on my own and they get it. You know, they will just go there. Like you said, no skepticism. They'll just lead, and then they're like, oh, yeah, I feel better now. Awesome. So cool.
I'm so going to practice that. I so appreciate you sharing that example. My son is a little bit angry sometimes as well.
Yeah, go ask him, when was the first time you were angry? What did you see? What did you feel? Awesome. And then to be like, what do you need? Like, what does your soul need to know so it releases the anger? And then and then just reiterate it back to them, and done. Like, yeah, it's so cool.
And is there something that's coming up for me is just about having a healthy balance. And I think as parents, we have so many expectations on us, you know, a lot of the time juggling work whilst our kids are around. You know, you pick up your kids from school and you've still got another hour or so of work to do, then they're around, and then you're not giving them the undivided attention that they need. Have you got any kind of strategies that you could give to other parents who are really feeling that?
Yeah, I guess for me is just trying to find the time to be present. Like, I am a busy mom. I hold a lot of responsibilities. I've got a 3-year-old as well as a 17 and 14-year-old. You know, I have 100 students that, you know, I have in containers that I, you know, chat to, and you know, podcasts as well that I'm jumping onto. But when I'm present, so after I finish this, I'm going to go be present with my daughter Aurora and really make Play-Doh, and make sure that, you know, even in those times that I am busy, I make sure that I will be present at different points of the day. So last night she didn't get to bed till late. I did have a late Zoom, and other mums away at the moment. I was like, just whispering in her ear, do you know how amazing you are? We had a really good day, didn't we? Like, and she's potty training. I'm like, you're so good at going to the toilet. So just like unpacking at nighttime for me is the best time to have, you know, that those beautiful little conversations. It could be time for apologies. You know, sometimes we've had a bad day. Sometimes our cup is empty and we've snapped and we've yelled. And so for me, it was always that time to like unpack and say, hey, let's do better tomorrow. And then for the older ones, if you've got older kids, take them for a drive. If you can get your kid next to you, like, you know, pick them up from school and just go the long way, or go get a milkshake or a coffee or something together. If you get a kid next to you, they will talk to you in the front seat. Like, obviously they've got to be the right age, but they're my 2 favorite places to connect with my kids and be present.
And I love that about driving, because you hear about like parents that are always quick to pick kids up from airports or whatever, and even when they're later on in their life. And it's like, it's not the chore of having to go that distance. It's the opportunity of having that time with them in the car, that you don't get to spend as much dedicated time one-on-one.
Yeah, one-on-one time as well is really helpful if you've got a busy family. So I split my boys with their dad. I have Aurora, so I have like time just for my wife and Aurora. I have time for just my boys, and try and make sure that is a balance. And then I am a bit of a workaholic, because I love what I do, but I also make sure that every single year we have 1 or 2 escapes, whether they're nice holidays overseas or within Australia, or even just, you know, camping. We always make sure that we've got that downtime that they look forward to, and memories are created. It doesn't have to cost much either, guys. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I couldn't afford that. It could just be, you know, put the tent up outside, or, you know, go to your local, you know, caravan park. But yeah, I really thoroughly look forward to one-on-one family time.
And I guess that thing with camping as well, you usually do put tech down when you are camping. And I think
Correct.
that's a big thing for families. It's just like tech is always present. So it's about setting healthy boundaries, not only for them, but for ourselves as parents.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. I would be the worst one in my family about tech because I'm always working. So good reminder for me.
Yeah, and me, and me. And I do have to, I have to put mine out of sight, because
Me
if it's
too. Or
there and
on
I see it flash, yeah, so I put it
or do
out of
not disturb. I put it on do not disturb so I can just be really present. Mm.
so important. Um, where can people find you if they want more from you, Nicole?
Yes, beautiful. So I'm the kidscoach.com.au, and it's kids with a Z, just to be a bit more zany, but kidscoach.com.au. There's a free 5-day course that people can watch little videos to just re-engage with their families and homes. I do have 100 kids coaches here in Australia that do multiple different kids coaching, so like chefs and nurses and educators. So it's not just working with me. And I do also train others to then become kids coaches as well. So there's plenty of information there. I am on socials. You'll get all my links: TikTok, Insta, Facebook. But I do a lot of free content as well, because it's all about encouraging others to really look at holistic healings for our kids.
Beautiful. Oh, it was so good to connect with you. Thank you so much for coming
Beautiful.
on and
Thank you so
sharing your
much.
wonderful wisdom.
It's been a pleasure.
And I wish you a wonderful holiday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.